As I promised to cover more detail on preparing CVs for the upcoming TUI Cadet scheme, it is time to start our final preparations. The first thing to start with is your CV. Have you considered some of the important aspects of preparing a CV as I discussed in my last video? I will link it in the description box below. If you're new here, thanks for watching this video, and I hope that you subscribe to the channel, and while you're down there, please like the video as it definitely helps the video to perform pretty well. Well, the first thing to understand is your CV represents you. Although you completed a loan application, the application doesn't represent you completely, and that is why they ask for a CV. The CV or resume, as it is often referred to, can make an application stand out or can disqualify you, even if you have completed your application well. So the importance of having a great CV cannot be overemphasized. Also, your CV is one of the documents that will continue to be reviewed as you progress through the stages of the assessment, especially during the interviews. To give you a better understanding of what I mean, when you show up to the interview, before you're even called in, interviewers, they review your CV, they gather some questions to ask you based on your CV. So if your CV is not well put together, guess what? You will have a much difficult time or experience during your interview. Now, an important area that can be overlooked on your CV is the personality that is projected. Now, you have to understand, they haven't seen you yet, they haven't met you, and they need to see the kind of person you are through that CV. Through the CV, your personality is projected. If you have errors or CV looks unorganized, then it says a lot about your personality, which carries into the role you're applying for, in this case, becoming a pilot. So when you're writing your CV, think about the information you're putting down. Think about how to structure the information in a way that is direct and it is to the point and doesn't leave out competencies or skills, because those are important. Make sure each line written is concise, clear, and well thought out. Word of caution, be careful about using colors, fancy fonts, and adding pictures. Although this projects your personality, which is what you're trying to project to them, it could become excessive or distracting. Also, pictures are highly discouraged. The format of your CV should be simple, neat, and organized. Remember, the person looking at your CV knows nothing about you, and you want the person to have an easier time getting to know you through a page or two. Generally speaking though, your CV should consist of these areas: a heading, an objective, flight experience, your education, your work experience, your achievements and awards, your interests or hobbies. I've actually covered most of this in the previous video, and I would link it again. Like I mentioned, you should check that video out. I was in the hotel, kind of tired when I made that video, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys start to get the important details together. Remember, it is not important to add all these areas to your CV, especially if it doesn't apply. But if you have something crucial to mention in these areas that I've just mentioned, then you should include them. Also, you don't have to write everything you have done in the past. Otherwise, you would have a very lengthy CV. You want to focus on the important areas that are important to the job. In this case, the skills and roles you've held in the past that applies to the job. So if you are about to write something, ask yourself, does this role or experience add value to me in the context of the job I'm applying for? In this case, the role of becoming a pilot. Does it apply? If it doesn't apply, then maybe you shouldn't add it. Now, this is an important area. This area focuses on writing your experiences. And in as much as we want to put all the details into the section, we have to be very careful and choose our words carefully. I will stress though the importance of action words, in this case, verbs. When writing your CV, one important consideration to take is how do you make each statement concise and clear? This is always an area everyone struggles with. However, this is an area that could make your CV more interesting to read without being too wordy or boring. A good place to get some ideas is Indeed. And as you can see, There are many action words depending on the role you're applying for. The next important area when writing your experiences is to think about the pilot competencies. As you describe your roles that you have held in the past, find creative ways to link some of those experiences with the pilot competencies. If possible, areas like customer service, effective use of excellent communication skills, your application of knowledge and procedures, and so on, all say important things about you and about your competences. The last aspect in the area of putting down your experiences is results. This area emphasizes the things you achieved in the roles you have just described using the competencies you have. A simple acronym I use in this area is PITA. The P is pilot competencies, the T is the tasks or roles that you held, the A are the actions you took, and the R are the results. All those three aspects, the tasks, the actions, the results, needs to be tied to a pilot competency to make it better. It doesn't have to be, but if you can, it makes your application even better. Let's assume person A worked at McDonald's in the role of taking customer orders and preparing those orders. A simple way to write that experience would be worked alongside other team members taking customer orders and preparing them. An advanced way to write that could be performed procedural tasks associated with taking customer orders and preparing them through the use of effective teamwork skills and excellent communication skills, thereby improving the customer satisfaction. As you can see from that experience, we talked about the tasks and the actions that were taken and the results that we got, including some pilot competencies, or the terms anyway. This is just an example of how I took a simple description of a role and expanded it to say more without making it too wordy. Now that you have these tips, do me a favor by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And also don't forget to share it with someone that you believe will find this useful. If you have any questions, feel free, leave it below or reach out to me on Instagram. And best of luck to you all.